Hi everybody, it's Tim with Engadget, and this is the one you've been waiting for, the iPhone 5. Let's take a quick tour around the hardware. On the bottom you can see that new 17-pin dock connector and the headphone jack that's been moved to the bottom as well. Left side is still the same volume controls and the rocker switch as well for muting the device or doing the rotation lock. Up top, again, the power button lies the same position as it was before. And on the right side, you've got the SIM tray, which is slightly smaller than it was before. The all-glass back, made famous in the 4 and the 4S, has been replaced by this matte aluminum one, which on this model is black anodized. But if you opt for the white iPhone, you'll get raw aluminum with two glass insets that are colored white versus the two glass insets that are black here. The overall look of the iPhone 5 is simple and sophisticated, but yet we still think it's beautiful. It's very similar to the iPhone 4 and 4S, of course, but yet without that polished stainless steel rim around the edge, it's a little bit more subdued, a little bit more sophisticated, but yet a little bit menacing too, and we like that. The iPhone 5 is running what Apple is calling the new A6 processor. While Apple hasn't seen fit to give us too many details about the chip, we do know that it's a dual-core processor running at about 1 GHz in speed. And that may sound a little bit unimpressive compared to some of the Android offerings. Ultimately, this is a very fast phone. It's noticeably faster than the 4S, in fact, and the 4S is, of course, a very fast phone as well. In doing back-to-back performance checks, we found that apps load noticeably quicker on the 5 versus the 4S, and tasks like rendering and things like that are definitely performed more quickly on the 5 as well. And in general, just when you're browsing around the operating system, things are much more snappy and responsive than they are even on the 4S. This is running iOS 6 as well to go along, and as you can see as we're scrolling through photos here, things are very quick and snappy. Now there's some new functionality in iOS 6. We won't give you the full rundown because ultimately there's a lot here to talk about, but let's take a look at the Maps application because that's a good demonstration of some of the new things that have been added. Now there's a traditional 2D standard view as we've seen before, but you can go 3D and then even more interestingly overlay satellite imagery on top of that 3D to give you this pretty amazing 3D view of New York City. There are only a few cities in the world right now that have been augmented with this view, and ultimately it's not the most functional way to look at the city. You're not probably going to be using this for navigation, but it is beautiful and it is an impressive demonstration of the iPhone 5's power. Apple has also introduced a panorama mode in iOS 6 where you can basically just hold your phone up and slowly pan it across whatever it is that you'd like to capture. The phone will stitch everything together, and we found that the images look very good. There aren't many artifacts that are usually introduced when doing this sort of stitching. Processing is quick, and in general, the resulting images look quite good. The iPhone 5 marks Apple's departure from the 3.5-inch screen size it has until now used on all of its smartphones. With 4 inches of screen, you've got a half an inch of extra display, all